All across America, there are 84 million acres, separated into 58 regions spread across the country, each encompassing its natural beauty and wonder. These regions are the United States National Parks, land reserved to be preserved by President Woodrow Wilson for future generations to see America's natural wonders and beautiful wildlife as intended. After Lewis and Clark's great journey in the early 1800s, the gates to the west were opened. After that, people and settlers began migrating out west to pursue better lives in the gold rush. As people traveled, they discovered the natural and surreal wonders that could be found in America's great plains, forests, and deserts. Two regions that became relatively well known were Yosemite and Yellowstone. During the Civil War, the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, signed that Yosemite was off limits from the war efforts. Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th U.S. President, a man who spent much of his youth in the wilderness and created 5 additional parks, as well as signed in the Antiquities Act, an act which granted presidential power to create national monuments and land. John Muir, an early American mountaineer, the man best known for successfully riding an avalanche, and claimed father of the national parks, aided and advocated Theodore Roosevelt in the creation of the Parks and Park Service. Ulysses S. Grant, the 18th President of the and Union leader during America's Great Dividing War, signed and established the Yellowstone region as the first national park. Thus, Yellowstone National Park was created in 1872. Theodore Roosevelt contributed to the national parks greatly, as far as adding 5 additional parks: Crater Lake National Park in 1902, Wind Cave National Park in 1903, Sully's Hill in 1904, Platte National Park in 1906, as well as Mesa Verde National Park in 1906. In the year of 1915, an industrialist millionaire by the name of Stephen Mather started a huge campaign in support of the parks, gaining the support of the public and school children to create a national park service. Woodrow Wilson, the 28th President of the United States, the man who signed the National Park Service Act in 1916, a year before joining the U.S. in the Great War, better known later as World War I in 1917. The national parks are a wonderful and brilliant exhibition that encompass America's beauty and brilliant phenomenon. Today, 102 years later, the national parks see around 330 million visitors each year, and a counted 1.44 million tracked recreation hours in their parks. In 2016, the National Park Service celebrated their 100-year anniversary centennial. As an act of celebration, Congress and President Obama drew up and signed the National Park Service Centennial Act, a new federal act that gave the National Park Service special protections and authorities to continue doing what they were created to do. The parks host various activities for the public and community to interact and learn about nature. These include school and educational events, as well as volunteer events. The parks still do an amazing job studying and preserving America's natural wonder and beautiful wildlife, just as its founders intended.